Hello and welcome everyone to a very special series that Women's Football India and the Fanspire is going to be doing. This will be solely revolving around Indian women's football. We've seen it grow across the couple of years. We've seen a lot of more Indian women come out, show their skills out on the pitch, and we are absolutely so happy to see that happening. But at the same time, there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to discuss, there's a lot that we as fans want to see happening with women's football in the country. And that's what this series is going to be about. So do stay tuned, of course. Do go check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Women's Football India, and the Fanspire. We are collaborating and bringing you this very important. We feel it's very important because it's necessary to talk about all of this, these issues that the women's football teams would be facing in our country. And of course, now without any further ado, let's get into introducing our guest for today. All right. So first up, we have Anisha and we have Phila. So, guys, can you all give a short introduction?
Will I want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Filari Mahanyota. I am an avid fan of Indian football, in particular Indian women's football. I've been following it for like a really long time, and I'm here to represent Women Footie India, or Women's Football India.
Hi everybody, my name is Anisha, and I've been a footballer for a few years now, and I've been an avid follower of the Indian women's football. And well, we're here to support women's football and try and make things better. So let's see how that goes.
And of course, lastly, I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. I'm Priyanka. I too play football in and around the city of Mumbai. I am an avid football fan, love watching football, and of course, supporting the women's game, especially in our country, is something that is really close to my heart. And of course, I'm here from the Fanspire. So that's been a quick round of introductions for us. So without any further ado, let's get into our first segment for the day, which is talking about the signings for Gokulam Kerala FC. Yeah, so Fila, do you want to go ahead and start off with it?
Yeah. I think these past few months, we've been seeing a lot of signings done by Gokulam as they'll be representing the country in the AFC Championship. So we've seen Ritu Rani, they've signed Ritu Rani, we've seen them sign Grace, we've seen them sign Soumya, we've also seen them retained Manisha, Karishma, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Aditi. So what do you guys think? Like, who do you think is like your biggest signing?
Anisha, you can go ahead.
So I think having Aditi in the goal is a really good thing for Gokulam because the experience matters, and also she's really good. And the whole idea of having Aditi is one, the experience, and two, she's already been a part of Gokulam, so she knows how they are and how the team plays. And of course, having a senior as well as an experienced person from the back supporting the entire team is going to be a good support to the team. At the same time, I think retaining Manisha and I think Karishma is also a good thing that Gokulam could do. So they will have a familiar team to play with. Ritu and Grace are the new signing for Gokulam. And I think having the more players, since they are practicing together now, having them with Gokulam is going to be a good thing because they're used to playing with each other. So the team bonding is going to be there already. So I'm hoping it's going to be a good show they put up.
Of course. And to add to that, yeah, continue, go ahead.
So I'm just asking Phila what she thinks about it.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like I'm really looking forward to all that. I think for me personally, I think signing Soumya is like a big thing because she's somebody who's actually gone up the ranks in Indian football. When we talk about the Indian national team, you know, she's played at the under 14, she's played at the under 16, under 19, and then she made her senior debut this year against Serbia, if I'm not mistaken. So, and she's also captained our under 17 team. in South Africa. So she is something that I'm really excited for, because I mean I'm like really looking forward to her progress in the game. Priyanka, anything that you like to
Of course,
share?
when I did hear about these signings on social media, they made quite big noise about it, which I was happy about. And yeah, I'm just excited to see. We know all these players are really good. We've seen them play. We've seen their talent as well. But I really want them to see, the whole team work together. See all of them really play as a team now and perform. And of course, I'm excited to see Grace and Ritu.
That's cool. We're like really looking forward
Yeah, of
in
course, of course.
November. Do you like have
Definitely.
any idea when, like, is there a tentative date that's out, or like, do you have any idea regarding that? Nothing yet.
No, I'm not sure as to when we'll be seeing them. I've not seen any kind of announcement about that on social media. Just
Well,
about this.
they've tentatively given the date for November, but they've not
Yeah,
confirmed anything yet, because I think because of the current scenario, we've not got a confirmation as to when. And also, they've still not left from their senior national camp to Gokulam, so we're going to have to wait on that as well.
Yeah, of course. And just as we were discussing about this announcement, we have a lot more announcements that have been taking place across the last few days for women's football. So let's just quickly get across to that. All right. So, what are the most recent updates that people should be knowing about women's football currently, and what can we expect soon?
yeah. I think this came out a few weeks back. They made an announcement regarding the Senior National Championship, which will be held in November from the 10th to the 30th. So I don't know where is it actually happening, or there's no information as of yet for that. And also, we've got the Gujarat Women's Inter-District League. I think that's starting on the 21st of September. And yeah, there's that. And do you guys want to like
Yeah,
share
we can.
other updates? And
Just
also something really, yeah, that is the Gujarat State
Gujarat
Senior
State League.
Women's Inter-District. Yeah. So at least there's something really, at least there's some women's football tournament going on alongside the Karnataka A division. I think something that happened a few days back, which got everyone really excited, was BFC announcing announcing the fact that they're going to start putting up women's team. So they're going to have
Yes.
the under 11, the under 13s, the under 15s, and if any one of you is watching this, you want to go try out for trials, please do. I think they'll have trials on the 25th. If you want more information, you can go to the website, but I'm very excited for this.
Same. I was super excited to see that. And of course, just like Fila said, girls, please go out there for the trials. We'd love to see more girls showing up and finally getting to play for such a great club.
I think it's a pretty good, what do you say, kind of a leap that the women's football is going to get, since Bangalore is such a great team, and Chetris are coming out and announcing that the women's football is going to be happening with Bangalore FC, and I think all the younger girls that are inspiring to take up football on like a professional level, this would be the step to it. So I think we're all eager to know how it's going to be going for Bangalore FC and women's football.
Of course. Super excited. So, moving on, we just said Bangalore's a great city currently for women's football. We also have the Karnataka A Division League that's currently happening, right?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So, Bangalore and football wasn't a very prominent thing until a few years back. Having Bangalore, I think, is the only state currently that is having a three-tier tournament for women's football. And I think they're having the A League now, and the team that wins this league further goes into the Super Division, which I feel is a good start. And having it properly laid down structure-wise in Bangalore is going to be a really good progress for women's football. Having said that, to be able to organize a tournament like this in the middle of a pandemic and actually pull it off really well with a professional setting, a proper ground, and get that many teams and arrange all of it so well. I think KSA should take a bow for it, because being able to do that for women's football is such a nice thing. And I mean, having to be able to pull it off properly with a proper, closing ceremony and opening ceremony and the proper tournaments, and having the games done on time, having a proper professional referee and all of that was pretty, good to see. And we actually had some good teams playing there. It was a pretty good tournament. I personally went there for the tournament to see how it was. And it actually turned out to be really impressive, because other than Bangalore weather and having to do a game in the afternoon, other than that, I feel everything was pretty well done. But I think every girl that plays the IWL is kind of used to playing the 2 p.m. game by now. So there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah, definitely. I having been a player who's played under that 2 p.m. sun, we know the the kind of toll it takes on your body to just be out there for like half till half time. It takes a lot. 90 minutes definitely for a lot of girls to come out and play takes a lot of strength to come out and play in the 2 p.m. sun. Honestly speaking, yeah, and of course, just as you said, kudos to Karnataka for actually taking the initiative, starting this. We hope to see this follow in a lot more states because it's definitely required.
Also, it was very impressive to see that they've kept matches in a proper order, so all the teams that are playing get enough recovery before their next match, and it's not done like one day after the other, so players get enough time to recover, I think, which is a very thoughtful thing to do, because for a player to perform at its best, they need to recover enough. And Karnataka Association keeping games in a manner that helps the players recover so they're best for their next game was a very impressive thing to do. So I think that should be given to them for that.
Fila, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I just want to echo what you guys have said. Like it's great to see them organizing. Like they have the qualifiers, and then now they're having the A division, which will move on to the super division and eventually to the IWL. So I mean, it's really nice seeing a proper structure in Bangalore, and I do hope that other states do actually also follow it. Also, like, do you guys have any idea whether they're like streaming this or anything?
I'm not sure if they stream it, but I think the Bangalore League streams it on their Facebook page, which is a Karnataka Association page. I'm guessing they stream it because I saw a few people with the cameras and recording the games, and so I'm assuming just like we have IWL in Mumbai and somebody live streams it on the FIFA page. The same thing is done with the KSA, but I'm not sure about it. But you can go check it out. In case if you find it there, please share it.
Yes, definitely. And did you guys see the announcement made by the Kerala government? They're opening up 3 academies to strictly for girls. I mean, that is like impressive, I would say. But then, I mean, that coming from that state, which we all know is a football-loving state, it's really great, and it sets very good examples for like other states as well.
Of course. Let's hope that the plans work out. We see actually things moving forward from just this announcement, but of course, it's a great step towards a lot of good things for girls in that state.
I think having made that announcement is a really good idea, and it's a baby step towards developing women's football. But it is only good when it is constantly progressing, and after the announcement there shouldn't be like a speed breaker to it. So I'm hoping that after that announcement they do actually keep up with it, and it's not just for the sake of it, because that would be really heartbreaking to see. Like women's football doesn't have already enough things to be heartbroken about. We really hope that it's the place that football is given really the most love and respect, and we really hope that it is given to women's football also in the same manner. So I hope they actually keep up with it.
Absolutely. And this this series, hopefully we can continue to highlight the developments along the way. And so yeah, do stay tuned to both the pages, so you can get the updates on whatever is happening in Kerala and also in the other states for women's football. Of course. So shall we move on to our next segment now? Okay. First up, we were talking about how good the Karnataka League is, right? And definitely that is something what we've appreciated a lot. It's taken a lot of effort for them to come out, do it in a structured manner. Yeah. Anisha, do you have anything to add to this?
Um, I I mean, it's really good to see them put it into a structure, but we all know that behind everything that looks pretty, there's a lot of mess that goes around. And from the Karnataka League, I have a few friends that play the league and a few teammates that I know that have played the league. The only problem is it doesn't look as pretty as it is. And as much as the players are signing contracts and being a part of the team, more than the team looking after the expenses, it is the players that are putting in money from their own pocket to be able to train and play the matches. And I don't think uh, a little expense is understood, but to be able to pay for the own ground and train and all of that is supposed to be the team's responsibility. And I think the team is supposed to be bearing those expenses. And I don't think uh, any, not all the players are capable enough to be able to afford that, because I don't think everybody comes from an extremely well-to-do background that can, regularly pay for turf and their kit and their expenses and their diet and all of that. I think if a team is ready to put their name in a tournament, they should at least be able to take care of the expenses. And we're not expecting something above and beyond. It's just basic necessities. I mean, if you're going to put a girls team, you have to be able to find a place to be able to train them. And I don't think the girls are supposed to be paying for it, because imagine somebody coming from a, a, a lower middle class background. Imagine them having to put 500, 600 bucks a week to be able to train. I don't think every player can afford it. And just because they cannot afford it, they're going to miss out an opportunity to play a league like that. Even if it's a good kid, they're just going to miss out an opportunity because they can't afford it. So, I appreciate Karnataka Association being able to put together a tournament. But I think if you're going to be putting a team, you should be bearing the expenses. That's at least what I feel from my point of view. But people can have another opinion about it. But we do put in some money when we are playing a tournament. But it's on us personally. If I want to buy something for myself, or maybe a colleague, or maybe a team, that's my choice. It doesn't have to be a compulsion. I don't think people playing that league, or that's probably one of the reasons why women's football, we cannot take it up as a career till now, because the girls find it difficult to put in that much money. And it becomes difficult for the girls to keep playing because it's expensive. I as a keeper tore my sock every tournament, and I had to buy a new sock every match. So it is expensive, and not always. And I was lucky enough that I had teams who would buy my socks and my kit, but not every team is doing that. And we know how expensive the kit is. Imagine the girls having to buy it.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for highlighting this. And not just in that particular league, I think this could be something that a lot of girls around the country face, whether they're just starting off, they don't have the support of their parents. Again, getting access to jerseys and kits would be a burden of an expense if there's nobody to help them out. And this is something that a lot of girls, I think, around the country, who, as you said, who aren't in the financial position to actually have access to it. So that is something we definitely need to think and hopefully change in the near future.
Yeah, I think if we can find such easy sponsors for the men's team, maybe we could have some people come ahead and sponsor the women's team also. So the girls and the teams won't have to bear the burden alone. Having some people come in and sponsor the women's team would be a really good thing, because then we would have the funds to better quality.
Yeah, and with this day and age in social media, we can see a lot more of promotion happening of the league on social media, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to catch hold of the sponsors for the girls. There's no kind of excuse as to why there cannot be any sponsors, because there is publicity here. You can use social media as a free tool to actually promote your league, which is something that I hope they put into use and take advantage of. Vila, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. They can't promote it better and everything, but let me just play devil's advocate and say that this is a vicious cycle, because I'm pretty sure the sponsors are going to be like, oh my god, you guys, you don't get enough people to watch, the quality of the game is not as good as we would want it, and then they're going to be like, it's a completely vicious cycle. But what I think is
What
that
are we
both
gonna
of
get?
them should go. Yeah, but exactly, but the thing is that what the only solution is that the quality of play and both the sponsors, they have to work together. It's about every single element working together at the same time, so that we'll be able to grow the game. It's not only about a single person or just a single element or a sector of the game, but all of us, everyone who's involved in women's football should and I know the players are putting in all the hard work and the dedication. I've met players who are like travel like 1 hour 2 hours just to play a game of football. But I think it's up to the club and especially the association, making sure that there's a standard, there's quality for all the clubs as well. Yeah, all the clubs, especially the league.
Absolutely. I think we can definitely discuss a lot more in depth. But another news that hit us a couple of days ago was about Bala Devi's injury. And that is absolutely so disappointing to see, because we know she's such an amazing player. She has made us so proud. And what are your thoughts on that, guys?
Personally, for me, I was heartbroken because I'm such a huge Bala Devi fan. Just the thought of maybe not seeing her play in the Asian Cup, that was like heartbreaking, So, I just hope that she has a speedy recovery, like as of right now, and just I hope she recovers well, and I hope to see her play again. It's going to be like a very hard miss for us as Indian football fans. I think she's played like in like 47 or 48 games, and she's scored she's got 42 goals. So we're going to really miss her, and I just wish her all the best.
Anisha, your thoughts
I
on
think
this?
I feel the same too. Having to miss her is going to be a heartbreaking thing, but I hope she recovers completely before she comes on the field and does not suffer an injury again. It's better to recover completely and come back stronger than recover half-hearted. So a few games missed is completely okay, but to have her fit and fine and back on the field in the same vengeance is important. So we obviously wish her a speedy recovery, and can't wait to have her back on the field soon.
Of course, here's the wishing all the best, and a lot of well wishes to Bala Devi, because obviously we love her and we can't wait to see her back, and hope she has a brilliant recovery, and as Anisha said, comes back stronger, because that is so important. And yeah, let's move on to talking about the friendlies that we've seen our national team play. That there has been a little bit of news about that. We've seen it across their social media pages. So, what do you guys think of that? What do you guys make of it?
First of all, what friendlies? We're talking about women's football. There's literally nothing. Considering the men are like in Nepal, they're traveling, they're playing games, and we get the same old excuse, COVID. COVID. I feel like they're just using it as a crutch, which is really sad, and it really pisses me off most of the time. What do you guys have to say about this?
I kind of agree with you. I mean, I understand, the guys need exposure. They have a tournament coming, and everything, everything is agreed to. Why is it different for women's then? I mean, if the guys need exposure, even the girls need an exposure. And um, I don't disagree to the fact that they played really well against Jharkhand, and they scored about 10 goals. But how is that helping them? I mean, playing against an Indian team itself and then going ahead and playing against with a foreign team is completely different. It's two different game intensity. I mean, you're not going to get an exposure playing the team. I mean, you're best in India. That is why you're in the Indian team. If you're going to play another Indian team, it makes no sense. And I mean, we know if it's a 10-0 game, we know how it turned out. It was a completely dominated game. That means you're not in a situation where you had to deal with, a bad play, or you had to deal with any kind of an issue. It was an easy 10-0 game. I mean, not easy, of course, but it was a 10-0 game. Come on. We know how 10-0 game looks. Having played at least a few years of our life, we know how 10-0 turns out to be. So, I can't say I'm upset with the men's team, but I'm definitely disappointed about the fact that at least we expected a little consideration there. I mean, the girls have not played for 2 years now? I guess 2 years almost, not had an exposure for an international game. The men's have had their ISL, their friendlies, and their championship and everything. And they've had exposure. They've got enough practice time and play time. Whereas the girls, it's completely opposite. If we are going to do something for the men's 100%, why not at least 80 for the girls? So, I mean, if you're going to have friendlies from Nepal with the boys, then why not something close for the girls as well? I mean, we need exposure too, right?
Absolutely. I think both of you all have put it out there brilliantly. And two things that I would like to highlight. One, what Fila said was excuses. We've seen this coming multiple times, not just now. We've seen, again, a lot of the men's team getting whatever they require in terms of exposure, in terms of match time, game time. And we just see a lot of excuses coming, as to why the girls are not either playing or having the amount of matches that they need to play, being just we can just see the amount of excuses being put. And I think I would like to highlight that. And as Anisha said, consideration, like, why is it so biased? As you just said, we have to put in a little more effort, thought for our girls, because they are giving, as we know that they are giving out there, giving their 100%. We know that in training they are giving their 100%. They deserve at least some kind of training before going to the foreign countries, because once they're there and we look at a bad scoreline and they'll be like, oh, we need to do this and that. But before going to a competition, we need to make sure that they're well prepared, right? So then later on we aren't being seen complaining that, oh, we need to do this and that. So I think it's high time we start thinking before we.
And the girls' team is actually performing. They're actually keeping up with it. Like, it's not like, if you see the growth over the last few years, they're actually doing really well. And we're just expecting some help from your side to be able to perform better. So if the girls are actually performing and they're expecting something from everybody, then I think it is theirs to ask for. So maybe the associations can consider it a little and not give them, equal may be too much to ask for right now from where we are, but at least something close.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I just want to make just a correction. We haven't had domestic football in say 18 months or so, but then they did play the Indian national team. They did play earlier this year in April for friendlies, and we didn't end up too well for us. Just a little bit of correction.
Sorry about that. But I think we can give them that, because not having to, be able to play for that long and then suddenly playing Fenry is not being prepared enough. I think even the men's would do the same. Any player who's not been, been away for a while and comes back, I think the performance is always not up to the mark. But if you give them that much training, I'm sure they will perform.
Of course, yeah, it comes back to preparation and how we prepare our girls, right, to actually go ahead and face it.
Yeah. Talking about the lack of domestic football, just a little bit of update. The IWL has been postponed for the nth time, and I think we did get a little bit update. I think it's being postponed to next year, in the month of March. So I don't know, maybe in a few more months they'll postpone it further, but till now that's the latest update that we can share with you guys.
It's March tentatively, so let's
You're right.
not.
See the tentatively a lot in all the announcements that we get.
I mean, it's just, imagine there's no idea, there's no plan, there's no structure, there's no schedule. How are the girls going to just practice indefinitely? And they don't have a tentative time to prepare for. They don't have a particular date to which they have to if you have to present something, you got to prepare for it. I mean, if the girls are going to play IWL or their senior nationals or something, they need to be given enough time to prepare for it. You can't just wake up a week before and say, okay, next week we're going to have the senior nationals. I mean, how is that possible? How do you expect to get the best out of the players like this?
I agree with that. And not only senior nationals, like even if you're playing like IWL qualifiers, like I know what it takes for a player to just maintain their diet, keep fit the entire year round without having that final goal in mind. Because when you are working as a player, you have to, again, I'm mentioning diet, fitness, practice. You do all of this with a certain goal in mind, and when that goal is not there, it becomes very hard for the player, and it also becomes hard for the people around, because they're like, what are you working for? You're putting in so much time and effort, but there's going to be no end goal. So I think that's going to be faced by a lot of the girls around the country, that they are working for something because we're seeing the tentatively, right? They don't know to what they have, what time frame they have to prepare, and whether their preparation will go in vain another year. So that's definitely very sad and disappointing.
And the problem is, two things take a very serious hit in this. One, motivation, because they don't know what they're preparing for. They don't know when it is going to be happening. They don't know whether not it is going to be happening. So it's just, I mean, you can be positive about something only till a certain period of time. After that, you tend to lose a little of it. And two, when people are not completely prepared for what is to come, injury is something that hits you very bad. I mean, going and playing a 90-minute game when you're not fully fit gives you 3 ACLs. So, I mean, there are so many injuries that a player can get. One, you lack stamina, you're not completely fit. If you have an injury, you've not recovered completely, you have to play 90 minutes. There are so many things to take under consideration. And not being fit and playing a 90-minute game, you're sure for an injury. So motivation and injury is like two things that are taking a serious hit when they don't have a schedule. So something's got to fix something here. And one more thing is, a lot of the IWL that we see, there are a lot of players that play from another city and another team. So if a team has to get in a player, they need a tentative idea as to when, because they're going to spend a lot on their traveling, their stay, their food, all of that. So if you're not going to give us a time or date, imagine thinking that your tournament is in March and you call in a player in Feb or Jan, and then you realize, okay, no, not March, maybe June. that much money that that team spends.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There has to be something done. I think we need to make sure that the association, the AFF, is more accountable. And I think that was like last month or something. I did see the Football Players Association of India actually speaking up for the girls. And it is nice to have allies, to there to support the players and to actually make demands for just the basic things. Yeah. Do you guys have any thought on that?
Priyanka, you want to go first on this one?
No, you can go ahead.
So FPAI is only trying to make sure that players get what they deserve and they get what they are supposed to. And I think what FPAI spoke in that statement was we're expecting to minimize the pay gap as well as give us a kind of a calendar for the women's football. So I'm not sure about the other states, but I'm not sure in Mumbai, we do not have, in Maharashtra, we don't have a season as such. So we don't know when to start the tournament and when to end, or when to prepare for our league and when to not. So this becomes very difficult for any player, be it professional, semi-professional, amateur. And what we expect from an association or the leagues is that give us time. And if a player is going to be so the thing with women's football is we can't take it as our full-time career. So we have jobs, we have half, a part-time jobs or full-time jobs. So if I need to leave my job or take leave from my job and go play in another state, I think I deserve, as a player, we deserve to be paid that much for it, at least a respectable amount. So I think those are very basic expectations from any team, a league, or an association. And I think it was a voice in the right direction. And from what we saw, a lot of girls supported that post as well. And a lot of them shared it on their stories. A few of them posted it on their stories. A lot of the national team girls supported it, which was really great to see. So I hope that we're able to make something out of it and we're able to bring a little change or at least a little amendment in the current situation.
Okay, I think let's quickly take a look at this. Is it right? The post that was shared. Yeah. So
Yes,
as you
this
can
was
see on your screens, this was the post that we are referring to, and of course, as Anisha said, looks to reduce the gap between whatever has been the women's. We've seen the women's lack a lot of things till now, and we could make a long list of it, but we shall not. But we shall just share this post and support the players also who have shared this post. Okay, so moving on, do we have anything else that we want to put in before we end for today?
I think we've had quite a interesting first session, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. Like if you would love to be a part of this show that we're putting up, please do reach out to us. Do send in a message via Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, either on WFI or Sports Fanspire.
Of course, just like she said, Women's Football India and Fanspire have come together, and we said that, of course, we need to talk about women's football. It's important, it is necessary, it is very necessary today. And we want you guys also to be a part of this conversation, as she just said. We want to hear from you, we want to hear your opinions as well. And of course, at the end of the day, show all the support that we can to our women footballers out in the country today. So do share, talk about this, create some buzz about it. And of course, if you would like to share, sorry, there's some crackers being burst outside my house. Could you hear it? Yeah, okay, I'll just repeat that. So yeah, guys, do drop us a DM, either Women's Football India or the Fanspire. Do drop us a DM, and of course, subscribe to both the YouTube channels. Follow us on Instagram. We are going to be covering this a lot more, and we're going to be definitely continuing this series. So do stay tuned.
Also,
And
Priyanka, if I can really add a little thing to it,
yeah, go on.
not a lot of women's football is given a lot of voice, but if you are one of those players that is not dealing with an issue, but you know somebody that is dealing with an issue with a team or as a player, please raise your voice, because you can't bring change alone or as one team. You have to bring change as the whole of Indian women's football. So I hope this is the beginning to raising voice for what is right.
Of course, and on that note, keep supporting Indian women's football. We shall end our show for today. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. As we just said, do share this, do raise your voices about this, and we'll be back with another episode soon. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.